Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to the Back to Basics series in American Truck Simulator. And as I've been thinking about things since the last time I was in here, I think the trailer I've got is causing me a lot more pain and suffering than I'd like. It's so challenging to find jobs. And so I think I'm just going to go and sell it and then replace it with just a standard dry van, which should give me a lot of options. Yes, they're not all going to be hazmat. Maybe none of them will be. There should be some, because there should be things like, say, explosives or something that can get transported that way. I think that will make more sense, because at least then the series becomes less about desperately finding a load, because I think in the last, at least 2 of the last 6 episodes, I've had to spend time just driving somewhere to find a load. And while it's still driving and so forth, it definitely is removing enjoyment for me. I'm sure it's removing enjoyment for you as well. So let's go to Trailer Manager. Pick this trailer. If we sell it, all right, we're going to get 50,000, so that's not bad. So there we go. So that gives us 165,000. And now if I go to trailer purchase, looking for dry van, there it is. So I'm going to get a 53-foot trailer, which will give me kind of the more standard options. All right, so the challenge I definitely do have is, there are things that are still locked. The length was kind of the biggest thing, the chassis, or at least at 53. There's probably other 53-foot options we can have, so maybe I'll change this in the future. I don't know that this honestly changes a lot of what I can haul. 77,000, so, not inexpensive, but not bad. So we're going to confirm those changes, and we're going to go ahead and purchase. And we have to put it in garage. So that is where it'll go. Alright, but the bad thing is then, that means I don't have access to it until I come back. So I'm not going to make a ton of money, but, some of it is at this point just getting over to the location. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take this load of meat from where I'm at, and I'm able to now do this at the external World of Trucks market. But I'm going to take this load of meat over to Colby, Kansas. And it looks like the trailer is right here in this farm, which is partially what I thought too, so that will help. It's not there, it's around the back. It doesn't look like I need to come into the front to the dispatch there and get it. It's already flagging it for me. The question is it here? Yeah, there it is. Alright. So I'm liking the farm here. So another suggestion that was made, which I think makes sense, by, I don't know if it was someone who is a trucker in real life or just, a player who, like me, is, trying to think of it that way. But I have the rule in the series that, I'm in cab. And so that caused me, I think last time, a little bit of trouble, because I believe it was just the latest video that the comment appeared on. And they basically said, I think you should amend your rule to you don't move the truck unless in the cab. And they had talked about how in real life, truckers will certainly arrive and then they'll get out of their truck and walk around and determine where they're going, and make sure that they understand what they're looking at. Let me set this to 0. So there we go. Get my camera centered back up again. And we went back and forth a couple times because I was kind of misunderstanding, and I'm like, well, you can't move the truck in essence when you're not in cab. Like, I can't get out of the cab. Like, even when I'm doing the other shots. And so they explained what they meant is that, like, that drone view that I've used in some things, like that I've used in the Euro Truck series, for example, that it just means, like, I don't move the truck when I'm not in this camera view, but that I can use the other camera views. The truck is just stationary while I'm doing so, to help me figure out what the situation is, because a trucker would be able to get out. All right, where do I need to go? All right, so it looks like I need to turn right. Interesting. All right, because it wasn't giving me anything early. Now, this is a short... well, maybe it's not. Now that I look at it, I'm not sure it's a short trailer. Now, wait a minute. This is cool. The wheels don't look to be turning, but... oh, no, they are. I don't know that I've ever seen a harvester going down the road in American Truck Simulator. That is, again, just a nice little small addendum. I'm sure it's just treated as a truck or a traffic, and they just have it in this space. So there's a farmer looking at his tractor. Hey, sir, you need any help? Oh, look at that plane coming over. Very cool. No? Oh, you're talking to a buddy of yours. No wonder you're ignoring me. All right. Thought I would be neighborly. I mean, I do, have a toolbox on the truck with me. Thought it might be nice to help him if he needed some help, but a little bit of a tree stump there. All right, well, this gets us to discover a little bit of road that we haven't seen, and we've already seen 2 or 3 things we've never seen as cleanly. A little biplane flying over the field. I'm sure it's like a crop duster or something. Is this an abandoned harvester up here in the corner? Kind of looks like it. It's almost like one of those Bison things that I got that was super cheap. I could come back for it for survival series in Farming Simulator. Borrow a lowboy and come pick it up, see if I could buy it for a couple $1,000s. But the harvester coming down the road was pretty cool. So, little things like that. So hopefully, folks are in agreement with the choice I've made. But try as I might, it just became pretty apparent to me that was going to be a problem. Now, this looks like a cardboard cutout, so I wouldn't say that's that great, and maybe that's what it really is. It is, okay. Do they really do that out in Kansas? They just put cardboard cutouts of cowboys in their field? That doesn't seem right. I see, there's like a historical marker there. Cool. So you could like go and potentially read something about Kansas. Because I'm like, there is that little pullout. I'm not going to back up and waste our time now, but... Alright. Well, this is like a typical Midwest road, I would think. We're waiting here a little bit. Alright, maybe after these two... Is that a DeLorean? No, it's just a really old car. It's a Cadillac, I think. Older design caddy. Alright. There we go. So we are on our way. I'm going to get myself up here and let the cruise do its thing. So going back to the suggestion, basically they're like, use the outside camera. And upon further thought, I'm like, that's reasonable. I can't, the sim doesn't allow me to actually exit the vehicle and walk around and look. But that is a way to do that.
Go straight.
And that, they're basically like, just don't move the truck when you're doing that. And that basically somewhat still simulates you staying in the cab, but it gives you the ability to do things that you're struggling to do right now because you can't see from the seat you're in. Like, obviously I can't see straight behind the trailer, for example, if I wanted to see how close I was to something. But as a trucker, I could get out and go walk behind my trailer and look. And so that's what they're implying, like, take advantage of that. So that makes sense to me. Obviously, if I have a simple delivery location, I won't have to do that, but...
Go straight.
Oh, there's some freight train. Alright. And we are... It seems like I'm not facing forward, but I am. Keep right. I think that's what it said. So we're going to Salina. I guess I really should have my turn signal on. Alright, so now I'll be rejoining a location that I've been at. We'll turn on the signal the other way so that people know we're trying to merge. Wow, that's an old school car. But yeah, in general, hopeful that you guys are in agreement, because I think it's just going to eliminate the what do I haul? I don't have anything to haul from this location problem, because a dry van is just a lot more versatile. Yes, as I said, it may create a situation where I can't haul hazmat that frequently, or maybe at all, but hopefully, if nothing else, because that might be... I apologize, I bumped the microphone. Hopefully that wasn't too distracting. I don't know if some of the trailer upgrades are part of what might give me that ability, because when I search through all the loads now, for example, like, I didn't have any that were hazmat, but that's also could be the possibility of where I was at. There just might not be a shipper that exists in Emporia or in that location that would have that. So I'm not going to give up on that until I go through, probably 5 loads or something. If I don't see any at that point, then maybe I've confined myself to a non-hazmat existence for a bit, and we'll just have to aspire to that differently later. Again, we're going 311 miles. We've already made 80 of it, so this shouldn't be too bad. Once again, I tend to try to keep these 30 minutes to an hour at the longest, so that's partially why I don't have a longer distance, because if I start doing that, I run the risk of taking jobs that really make it a pretty lengthy haul. But I think we also have the situation sometimes where, it might not be that far or that long, for the extra 100 miles or something, because if it's all highway driving, then it's usually not too bad. So we were able to get to the highway pretty quickly here once we got off the back roads, so that was nice. I'm just not sure that I'm going to be able to make it all the way on interstate. We got a flatbed coming by here. Cypress. But definitely looking forward to see what my options will be with my trailer. I'm assuming the loading will be similar to how I was doing.
Right. And then exit right.
Okay, interesting. Seems to be not the way...
Exit right.
Not the way I would have gone. I'm not sure why it was beeping, other than maybe I was approaching the exit a little too fast. Because I'm not using any weird map add-ons or anything, I'm less concerned with double-checking the map for errors like I used to have to do. So, I'm trusting this is right, but it seems like this would be sending me south. I'm not sure. Actually, no, I guess this is west, so I guess we were going... Maybe we were going north or something. I didn't realize we were headed north, but I see the W up in the upper corner of my dashboard. But it's getting to be nighttime. We are going to need to rest. So, definitely by the time I get there, if nothing else, I should be able to make it. I don't know, 200 miles could still be 4 hours, but it's not like we're getting a warning or anything. So I think we'll be all right. Whoop. Sorry, got a cough. So I was reaching down to hit my mute button on my microphone, which the microphone I've got, it kind of sits at the cable on the floor, so I have to bend over to get to it, and that caused me to drift off the road. So sorry for that. Thank goodness for the rumble strips. Otherwise, it could have been a much different result, too. I'd be, like, in the fence with the cattle and maybe flipped over and really be having a problem. But, yeah, it just seemed like the right thing to do with the trailer, because it was more of a struggle. Like, the episode to me was seeming more like I got to figure out what I can haul, and then if I can't find something, I'm guessing where do I go. And it was just, like I said, it was taking away from the enjoyment for me. I definitely was starting to feel like less of a desire to be in here and driving, which I knew made no sense, because I've put so much time into American in the truck simulator games. I definitely do enjoy. Whoa, I wasn't paying attention to that. I better oh boy. How did I miss that? Alright, this is a rest area. Well, that's not going to help me, but... Because the problem is I probably only have like 75 miles. Now, I'm on the interstate, so in theory I shouldn't have ridiculously impossible long ways to go. At this point I'll probably go ahead and rest when I do that too, because that's coming up, and I, again, may not make it before it's time. Alright, now I desperately need an exit. I was not paying attention to the fuel at all. I was just so focused on the trailer situation when I started. So, yeah. Alright, well. I mean, the problem in the Midwest is, yes, you're going to have gaps, sometimes substantial gaps, between exits. Yeah, this is probably not helping me, the slowing down and speeding up, but I don't want to run into a situation where an exit comes up and I can't exit. There's a water tower. That usually means a town. Is an exit gonna appear? Doesn't look like it. We have a photo spot of something for some reason. Oh, there is an exit. Usually fuel should be pretty prevalent. I mean, I'm not looking for rest areas and so forth, so... Alright, so Hayes, Kansas, I think. Alright, I see fuel right there. I don't necessarily see anywhere I can rest. Which is a little bit disappointing, but... Alright.
Finding a new route.
Now, I do think, and I would say that I think the team at SCS has gotten better at really fleshing out exit areas like this. This feels completely perfect. You've got the fast food stuff right around the exit, but you're still pretty busy. You've got hotels and things placed around. It just feels like it should. Alright, let me go here.
Turn left.
Hopefully we'll be okay. All right. 434. Holy moly. Well, that's going to take a hunk of cash. Alright. I do like the fact that it does start to fill up faster after the first few gallons. So it doesn't become crazy. It looks like we can drive around the building to exit. Alright, $775. Welcome to truck ownership. Obviously, you know, if I was contracting or something, that would be someone else's problem. But the Hotel Inn and Suites, that looks like a Hampton Inn or something. I don't know that they're going to have a real sign on there, or is it a travel lodge? It's really not showing me anything. So I don't know if they don't have hotel hotel assets in the real companies and whatever situation, but alright, well, it hasn't asked me to stop yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue on and hope that I find another rest area soon. The problem is it's probably going to be a few hundred miles, and best laid plans, it tends to turn into...
Keep right, and then exit right.
Alright. It tends to turn into a situation where you're suddenly turning off the interstate and then getting onto another one, and you don't find... let me make sure. Alright, I did have... Alright, I do have my lights on. I'm like, I don't need that goofy... I don't need the goofy penalty that I don't have my lights on. God, it still looks like I don't, though, but I'm pretty sure I do. I can't tell where the indicator is on the display. I don't know, I'm pretty sure I have it. I guess we'll find out if I get penalized. I mean, once the sun really fully goes down, it'll become a lot more obvious, but just right now, heading straight into the setting sun, it is much more difficult to identify whether I am in that position or not. Alright, a little over 100 miles, so even now if I get the yawning, which is kind of like, I got 2 hours to go, I should be okay. So, kind of back up to speed again. Wasn't a super long or a super heavy load, so that helps. You know, we've got a pretty good truck here, but yeah, the challenge with getting into something as early as I did on the levels is, you know, I do have things locked up, and so I don't have all my options yet. And it does usually tend to be more expensive to buy something and upgrade it later than it is to just purchase it outright, but that's alright. It's not specifically an economic series. Yeah, see, if I've got to like get off and go as far away as that is, I'd kind of rather keep going and just get us there, and then I can rest, hopefully, wherever I'm at. We'll see. Because certainly if I get to like 275 or something before I start the yawning, it just doesn't make a lot of sense other than that. Oh, another typical thing in the Midwest, just a kind of an abandoned billboard where it looks like, you know, because what could have happened in some of these cases is you did have situations where they were small roads that they just suddenly then took the right of way when they built the interstate system and replaced it, and you know, they just may not have spent the money to remove a hotel sign for an establishment that was there, but obviously the hotel was removed or something, because you can't have a building like that right on the side of an interstate. So, you know, but they never got rid of the sign. So there's probably few of those left around. I would imagine the locals would still be like, this is a bit of an eyesore, I'd like it gone, but who knows, you know, I mean, sometimes it comes down to the funding. You know, it might cost $10,000 to have that removed, and everybody's like, you know, we we're tight, money's tight, and we'd rather spend $10,000 somewhere else all the time. So it just stays there and is slowly rusting away. Alright, so we're coming up on that magic 275 that I picked out of the sky. I do have lights. That's a lot more obvious now. Once again, it's a bit of a... Okay, so we'll keep going. It was 311. So it shouldn't be too far. And then I'll rest once I get to town. And hopefully I'm not remembering incorrectly, and then I'm going to hate myself because I'm going to start getting a sleep penalty because it's more than 3:11. But yeah, I should be there within an hour. Probably pretty typical in the Midwest here that, you know, it's nighttime and now suddenly we're getting busy. Because a lot of times, especially truckers, will tend to like to drive through here at night. It's not like you've got a ton of scenery. Traffic should be lighter from cars and so forth. And, you know, they can get through pretty quickly. So, about another 15 minutes. Usually it's about 15 minutes between yawns. My concern is I thought we still had to take a step up north and then a little one over west, so I don't know, but maybe the interstate just gets us there. Oh, there we go. We can see our delivery point. Alright, and if nothing else, as we come back, we can come back to that giant truck stop and rest there, but my guess is we might have other options.
Right, and then exit right.
So, looks like we've got a Tractor Supply, which would be pretty typical, but a lot of the other businesses in town are not being replaced by real companies, so that's pretty typical.
Turn right.
Because as they add maps and they add different businesses, the modder didn't know about them, and so they didn't create a replacement. But even the gas station, WP, is not a brand I'm familiar with, so I'm sure it's something they built, but you can see there's a Burger King, so, you know, the real company mod is working, it's just not handling this. And as these upgrades come out, I'm going to have to see if the modders are upgrading stuff like that. Alright, so we've got a little bit of a rest spot there. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and get this delivery done, because we should be in kind of what I call the town time warp now, where the time kind of almost becomes a little bit real time here. Oh, that is a cool Tractor Supply design. I like it.
Go straight.
But yeah, American Truck Simulator Bank. I don't know who Allostries is. That's not a major carrier that I'm aware of. But yeah, we're going to have to come back before next time, rest, and then look for work. Because what I don't want to do is have like an urgent delivery or something that then I would fail at because I'd have to sleep immediately. So the proper thing to do is let those jobs go by and, you know, go ahead and do what I need to here. Nice little, what we call a chopper out in front of that bar. So it's a motorcycle with a really long fork. Definitely an old school type thing, so I like that little add-on to the scenery. That was pretty clever. Again, not a whole lot of those you see driving around on the road, but out here in rural Kansas, someone might have one still hanging around, you know, pretending they were in the big city. Sometimes there is a little bit of that nostalgia. It's kind of maybe the grass is greener syndrome, where there is kind of an ongoing refrain. I don't know if it's just a trope or, how serious it is. I think it's pretty serious from what I hear, but I've not lived in towns like this that are kind of off the beaten track. It's a little smaller, and then especially the younger folks kind of feel like they're stuck. They want to go move and start a life somewhere, but they just never have the funds or the ability to do that. And so they end up kind of spending their life in town,
and then turn left.
And then, they grow up and
Turn left.
unhappy, that their life wasn't what they wanted it to be, and so forth. All right.
Right.
Let's see. This is
You have arrived at your
interesting,
destination.
because I'm not sure that I can do a lot here. I guess I might be able to pull in and then turn around, because I'm thinking that's what I'm going to need to do here. Yep, I got to park it in there. So, am I going to make it? If I'm not, I want to scrape really gently. Thank goodness there's nobody parked here. So that might give me a shot. We'll kind of do that and see what we can do. Alright, so what they're suggesting is take a peek. Alright, this is a short little stubby trailer. It really didn't look like it. Alright, let's get back in the truck. Now let's try to think this through. I think that's what I need. Uh-oh, I'm getting that wonderful. I do need to go that way. Alright. So, it's a bit of the blind side, but not a ton. Let me get a little sharper here, because I'm probably getting a little closer than I want there. Alright, I can kind of estimate based on what the ramp looks like. As long as I don't have too much trouble, I shouldn't suddenly get a sleep penalty here. But we got Grand Pastures that we delivered from. Alright, let's get ourselves back in the cab here. Alright, we should be pretty good. I'd say that was not a bad parking job, honestly. Oh, I thought it was giving me the I'm there, but now that I look at where my parking markers are, whoops, turning the wrong way, but I think I'll be okay. Just gotta be careful. I don't want to slam into the dock. Alright. There we are. Let's drop the load. Alright. So let's see how we did. Level 13. A little bit of a chunk. That's kind of what we're expecting. Alright. So, gonna go ahead. Still a little under 100,000, but should be up there before we know it. But again, hope you're enjoying the new direction. That, we're gonna have a few of these loads where we're just picking up a trailer and moving ourselves back over to Salt Lake City. So we'll see how that goes and how we can get there. I mean, the nice thing is Salt Lake City's pretty large, so hoping as I get closer we're going to have a bunch of options to get into town with. But we're going to go, and we're going to get ourselves our trailer eventually, and hopefully it'll make it a little more interesting to be working with a trailer and go from there. So if you've enjoyed this and haven't dropped a like, please consider that. And if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please consider that, and I will see you next time.